Death crushes family of Daze with Jordan the Lion. My honest review. This new death comes in the wake of the recent passing of YouTube icon Adam the Woo, found deceased on December 22nd, 2025 in his Celebration, Florida home. This time, travel vlogging fans worldwide are sending condolences to the family of Jordan the Lion. Pictured here, Jordan had been a devoted protege and friend of Adam the Woo. Naturally and understandably, this latest development has saddened millions of these men's YouTube fans worldwide. Adam and Jordan operated separate and unrelated YouTube channels, which garnered hundreds of millions of views and countless devoted viewers. Adding to the heartache multifold, before this latest death rocked Jordan's family, he recorded the following brief video about Adam's passing.
I'm trying to think how to make some sort of tribute to Adam the Woo, because, man, not even 10 seconds in, I'm crying. Adam was huge in a lot of our lives, and, I was so devastated to find out about Adam passing away. He was in my corner from the very beginning, and Adam was one of those people that you couldn't give him presents, you couldn't give him accolades or anything, because he just, like, to him, he was just nobody. He wasn't doing anything special. He was just living his life, and so I met Adam when I was 35, and I was probably vlogging for maybe 3 or 4 months. I don't know, maybe longer. And basically what had happened was my dad died when I was a kid, and I just kind of decided then that I wanted an exciting life.
Shortly after Jordan published the video you just witnessed, he and his family suffered extreme heartache as word spread his beloved grandfather had perished. After the death of Jordan's dad, his grandpa became his father figure and mentor. Besides his grandfather and Adam, Jordan's other mentor was internationally acclaimed film and TV star Shelley Winters, pictured here. In 1960, 21 years before Jordan was born in July of 1981 in Ohio, Miss Winters won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in the blockbuster 1959 film, The Diary of Anne Frank.
I've been asked to give the award for the best performance by an actress in a supporting role, or to put it more succinctly, the best picture stealer. The nominees are Hermione Baddeley for Room at the Top, Susan Kona for Imitation of Life, Juanita Moore for Imitation of Life, Thelma Ritter for Pillow Talk, and Shelley Winters for The Diary of Anne Frank. And the winner is Miss Shelley Winters in The Diary of Anne Frank.
It takes a lot of people to put this in your hand. First, someone has to write a dimensional role in a very fine motion picture. And next, somebody has to get you the part. Then you have to have a great director. And then you have to be nominated and voted. So I would like to thank the memory of that wonderful little girl, Miss Anne Frank, who wrote with such depth and perception about human beings. I'd like to thank my wonderful friend and creative agent, Mr. Herb Brenner, and Mr. George Stevens, and last but not least, I thank you, the Academy.
6 years later, Miss Winters won her second Oscar.
Who will make the award to the Supporting Actress of the Year is himself a former Academy Award winner. He has distinguished himself in so many branches of the arts as actor, director, playwright, essayist, lecturer, and producer. It seems a shame he does not have a middle name, because Peter Ustinov's monogram should be anything but P.U. If he doesn't object, then here is Peter A. Ustinov.
Thank you, Bob, for finding a solution to what has been a sticky situation for years. Now see what you can do with Oscar Werner. For the best performance by an actress in a supporting role, Academy members in the year 1966 nominated the following ladies: Joyce Redman in Othello, Maggie Smith also in Othello, Ruth Gordon in Inside Daisy Clover, Shelley Winters in A Patch of Blue, and Peggy Wood in The Sound of Music. Patience, ladies, while... The winner is Shelley Winters.
Thank you very much, members of the Academy, for giving this to me the second time in my life. I wish to thank very much my director, Mr. Guy Green, who truly understood the role I played better than I did. And I would like to especially thank Mr. Pandro Berman for not only making such a sensitive, beautiful picture about a subject of integration such as A Patch of Blue is, but for making the picture a box office success, which is very important for subjects like these. And I'd like to thank my agent again, Herb Brenner. Thank you.
By this stage in Miss Winter's life, she had earned a well-deserved reputation for her exceptional ability to spot budding talent. Those included media personalities and actors. It wasn't at least until more than 40 years later that she would spot and recognize the talent of Jordan the Lion. That's an exceptional story. You're going to hear more about it. In order to give you a clear insight into Miss Winter's personality long before she met Jordan the Lion, take a look at this clip from the 1950s and 1960s popular game show, What's My Line?
All right, now if you'll join me over here, the panel knows that for this particular part of the program, we dispense with everything except the general questioning, which we will begin with Fred Allen.
I know from the applause that it's not President Eisenhower. Are you I know that you're fairly well known by the reception. Are you in the entertainment field?
Well, I always try to be entertaining.
Are you we haven't got a worm as a mystery guest. Are you a member of the opposite sex?
Opposite from what?
Well, from me, for example.
I think so.
That would be yes, Fred.
Yes, you're a lady performer, entertainer. Do you work in the pictures?
Yes, I do.
Do you I know this isn't Miss Garbo having a night out. You don't want to be alone by any chance.
Fred, I'm very sensitive. Please don't make remarks like that.
Well, John, I can't see what I'm doing. You have to excuse my predicament here. I can't think in Braille, fortunately. But do you appear in the theater, too?
Yes, I have.
Do you appear on television apart from this show tonight?
Yes.
Do you have a regular television program?
No, I do not.
One
Congratulations.
Down. 109 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you known predominantly for your work in pictures?
Yes.
Would you be considered a leading woman?
John?
That's her alter ego. But you would be a leading woman?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Would you be in pictures for only the last, let's say, 10 years or 5 years?
Yes.
Do you work for any particular company in pictures?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
You have a very sultry-sounding voice, even when it's disguised. Do you ever play sultry parts on the screen?
Yes.
Did you ever play a part in a picture originally written by Theodore Dreiser in which you were thrown out of a boat?
Well, come.
I don't hear any answers.
Yes.
Don't you remember?
We are a little bit concerned with technicalities, perhaps, but will you repeat the question, Bennett?
In which it was alleged
There was
she
a book called An American Tragedy by Theodore Dreiser. The picture had another name, and this lady, if she's the lady I think she may be, was in it. That should be easy to answer.
Yes.
You see, we had to get her up out of the water.
I see. And are you now about to appear in the water again in a television show based on Claire Luce's The Women?
Yes.
And would your name be appropriate for this time of year, Miss Shelley Winters?
Right, Bennett. I would say that Miss Winters is one of remarkable courage because she's got the women coming up and she was driving that voice down, and if she doesn't have a little hoarseness tomorrow, it'll be a great surprise.
Is it tomorrow?
No.
Oh, no, I just mean the hoarseness tomorrow. The woman is coming a bit later, but...
What about that bathtub scene? That's the one you're going to do, aren't you?
Yes, in the water again. I'm very sorry I didn't get all the way to Miss Kilgallen. I had a special effects sounding to
Well, let's hear it now.
No.
Oh, come on, let's hear it now. Let's hear the effect.
Well, I was going to sing.
Well, let's hear
I was hoping you were going to say, do you do other things in the show business? And I was going to do, and all because of a man that got away.
Jordan's eventual pathway toward meeting Miss Winters began within several years after he graduated from high school in Ohio in around 1999 or 2000. To help make ends meet, so to speak, for the next several years, Jordan worked a variety of menial, low-paying jobs, while his interest in music, especially rock music, and he was a rock musician, his interest in those things continued to grow and swell. Eager to break out of his proverbial rut and leave Ohio for Southern California, Jordan found out about an opportunity to attend a musician's institute, a music school in Southern California, but he needed more cash to make that happen. His late grandfather, his mentor at the time, helped make that possible by giving Jordan either a loan or a gift of cash, and that helped change Jordan's life and put him on track to eventually meeting his other mentor, Shelley Winters. Amid those years in his early adult life in Southern California, Jordan seized opportunities to make his dreams come true as a member of at least one rock band, Candyland Riots. Interviewed during this period by a newspaper reporter from his home state of Ohio, Jordan really was excited. That was clear in the way the article was written. The article states that Jordan, of course, had, quote, humble beginnings. It said that the Troy native moved to Hollywood to attend the Musicians Institute and said he took his experiences from this small town in hopes to make it in the big time. Lee said music surrounded him his whole life. His mother played the organ and his late father sang in church. Lee would often accompany his parents in those musical presentations. In fact, he also told the newspaper that open-minded teachers at Troy High School encouraged him in the class of 1999 to develop his talents, allowing him to complete assignments on staff lines rather than a college-ruled paper. At the Musicians Institute, Lee said his songcraft course was among the most difficult, but it was in that class that he realized his potential. My instructor loved my lyrics, but he said they would never make it mainstream, Lee said. He was tough, but he also said, he, referring to his music teacher, that he liked my lyrics as they were, and I guess I thought I can write songs because things, he said, that's particularly what I can do. In another subheadline that says, finding his place, along with his confidence, he, Jordan, found his professors, and he said that one of the biggest influences in his songwriting was moving across the country and not knowing anybody. Lee told how he spent most of his friendless time upon his arrival in Southern California in record stores and listening to music at home. Quote, when you're really lonely and sad, you figure out who you really are, what you are, Lee said. Quote, I get to a point where I get so sad that putting it into words just won't do it anymore. In a proverbial sense, I suppose, Lady Luck visited Jordan several years later when he met Shelley Winters. It changed his life forever.
So I was out of work. I had been out of work for about 6 months, and I started hiking every day up there where I take job. And I met this girl hiking up there. She said, hey, I can help you get a job if you want. You could be a delivery guy at the restaurant that I worked at. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that because I'd always been told you're only as good as your last job. So if you take that job and then you try and apply for like a real job or a professional job, you're probably not going to get it. But I needed money, and I was in a band at the time, so I just said, well, I need my nights free so I can do shows. And she said, well, they're looking for a daytime delivery driver. Do you want me to put a word in? She goes, the guy who's the manager over where I work, he'll love you. She goes, his dad wrote a bunch of songs for Elvis, and which was true. The guy's name was Warren Tepper. His dad wrote a ton of songs. You can find collections. It's called Tepper and someone else. I forget who his partner was, but they wrote a bunch of non-hit songs for Elvis. And she said, I'll put a word in for you. Go in there and just tell him like you're out of money, that you need a job. He's a real people person. He'll hire you. So that's what I did. And she also said, we get a lot of people from the record industry that order from there, so you'll probably be delivering to like RCA and Geffen and all these record labels. Maybe you can pass off your record, which did eventually happen. So I took a job as a delivery driver. It was extremely humbling. I actually had hair down to here, and they made me put it in a ponytail every day. So the day that I met Shelley was actually right here at this place that I'm going to show you, and I had long hair and I had it in a ponytail. It was about the end of my delivery day. I always got off about 3 o'clock, and at 2:30 an order came in, and I didn't really want to take it because I didn't think I would make any money since it was so close. But they forced me to take it. I come over here, and the name on the order was Patricia, and So I go up to the room, and there's a lady laying in the bed, and her assistant comes up to me to pay me, and the lady laying in bed says, "Honey, you have the most beautiful hair I've ever seen," on a man. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And when I had walked in the room, her name was actually on the door frame, so it said Shelley Winters. I knew whose room it was. So I look over and I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much. That means a lot coming from you." And she goes, "Oh, you don't even know who I am." And I said, "Of course I know who you are." I said, "I used to watch you on Roseanne." And she's like, "Oh, but you don't know really who I am. You don't know the real good stuff that I do." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I said I was reading a book at the time, and she started telling me a story, and I don't remember what the story involved, but she was telling me, I think it was something about when she was working on the Paramount lot, and she told me that about, she was trying to remember a studio head name, and I was reading a book, and I said, "Oh, it was blah blah blah," and she goes, "How do you know that?" And I go, "Oh, I love old Hollywood history." And she goes, "Oh, well," she said, "I get really bored here." She said, "Would you come back and visit me sometime?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess so." She goes, "Go read my book." And I was like, "Okay." So I went to the library, I got her book, and 3 or 4 days later I came back on my day off and I hung out with her. And it was a lot of fun. She just really liked to recount stories and tell about her life, and you know, basically what people do when they don't really have much else going on right now. And what she told me was that she had gotten pneumonia and was in Cedars-Sinai, which is basically right up this road. And she had had pneumonia for a month, and in that time she had lost the ability to walk. So they had sent her here so that she could relearn how to walk. The problem was, when she came here, she became a big fish in a little pond, and even though Sid Caesar was here, everybody fawned over her. Everybody loved her, and everybody wanted to come in and meet her and say hi and get photos. And basically what ended up happening was, whenever the physical therapy people would come in to work with her, she would start basically acting. She would start crying, or she would start saying, "I don't feel good today, I don't want to do it today, my legs hurt, this hurts, that hurts." She just didn't want to do it. And one day the physical therapist comes in, and she loved this guy. He was an actor and he was real charming and stuff. And one day he comes in, he says, "Shelley, they're taking me off your case." And she said, No, I won't let him." He said, "It's out of your hands, it's out of my hands. There's nothing that can be done now." And she starts crying, and she says, "Well, I'll get up now and I'll do it now." And he said, "No, it's too late." He said, "Shelley, I've been working with you for weeks, and you've made no progress, and there's always an excuse, and now to the insurance company it looks like we're committing fraud." Well, this really hit her hard. That really hit her hard. And her birthday was coming up in about 2 months. So what she ended up doing was she started getting a little bit motivated to want to get out of here. And it was kind of my doing, and it was her, also a friend of hers that met her while she was in here named Lisa. And basically we would come as often as we could, and what we would do is we would fill her mind with all these great ideas of like, "Hey Shelley, wouldn't it be great to go out to eat tonight, or go have dinner at your house tonight?" And we would just always mention her house and remind her that she had a house. Because like I said, she got so comfortable here, she just really told me, she was like, "I don't care if I ever leave." But her birthday was coming up, and one day we really hit her hard with it, and I'm like, "You should try and get out of here." I was like, "You're missing out on so much good stuff that people coming over, and you wouldn't have to worry about visitation hours or anything anymore." So she decides for her birthday that she wants to get out of here. And we set a plan, knowing full well that I knew full well it probably wasn't going to happen. Honestly, I honestly just thought we would get over here and she would decide she wasn't gonna leave. But I had actually, the only person I knew with a car at the time was Michael. So I called up Michael and I said, "Are you free at this time to help me move her out?" And he goes, yeah, I am. So he brought his car over here, and that day, sure enough, I showed up and she was in her wheelchair with all of her stuff packed, ready to rock. And she had told somebody else she was gonna leave, so they were also here. And basically what ended up happening was they took her to her house and we took the rest of her stuff with us, got her out, and she got to go spend, I believe it was her 83rd birthday party at home. And that's actually what got her out of here. But she spent, in the time that I knew her, I would say she was here for, well, I met her right after my grandmother died, which was literally right now. So I probably met Shelly this time in 2004, literally almost to the day I met her here. And so she was here I met her in March, and she got out around her birthday, which would have been in August. So for about 6 months I would come visit her here. She was on the second floor, a couple of windows down, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. Just seeing like all the people that would come in and fawn all over her, and we actually became really good friends here because, you know, it was, at that point, there was no fame involved. She liked me because I was young and I had an outlook on life, and she missed that, and she had been a teacher at the Actors Studio and always loved teaching young kids. So for her it was immediately like we were both Leos, so we got along great. And when we met, she's like, you should be an actor. I don't tell everybody that. She goes, but you have something. You're very likable right away. You should be an actor. And I'll teach you. When I get out of here, I'll teach you. So that was also one of the things I would always say. I'm like, Shelly, if you get out of here, then you can teach me and make me a good actor. And I had a band at the time, and we were finishing our album, the Orange Sash album, and I would bring it in and let her listen to it. And I remember there was a song on there called At Least It's Not a Holocaust. And I was just basically saying, like, no matter what happens in my life, nothing will ever be as bad as like it being a Holocaust. And she heard it and she like stops and she goes, honey, you got to take that song off there. I go, no, there's nothing wrong with that song. She goes, honey, you can't make fun of the Holocaust. I said, I'm not making fun of it. I'm comparing it. She goes, honey, you can't do it. She goes, too many Jewish people run things in this town. You'll get blackballed. You don't want to do it. Trust me, as somebody who had to help people get out of being blackballed, you don't want to do it. And I did keep the song on there, but it was during that time where we were having trouble with, like, our bass player wasn't always available to perform shows and stuff, and I would tell her about that, and she just said, one day she's like, that's why I told you, you'll only make it if you do it yourself. She said, trust me on that. She said, and you're so likable, and you're a man, so it doesn't matter how old you are. It could take till you're in your 50s or 60s for you to make it, but you'll make it, so don't give up, just keep working at it. And this was where I met her, this is how I met her, and yeah, what an odd thing to happen in your life. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. And for me to lose my job and be unemployed for that amount of time, and then when I finally do get a job, I would meet her out of it. And then when she got out, she would pull kind of like pranks. She would call my work and ask, like, specifically ask for me to deliver her stuff, or she would come in and eat and tell them like she was there to see me, and my bosses would be like, how do you know her? But yeah, it was from here.
As briefly indicated earlier, in around, I would say, 2014, 2015, shortly after Jordan the Lion began his own YouTube channel, which at that time had about, I'd say 5,000 followers, viewers. That was the pivotal point where he met the man on your screen, the late legendary Adam the Woo. And as I previously indicated, Adam mentored Jordan to the point where Jordan gained the confidence and learned the best ways to produce videos in a manner that would attract viewers and give him his own set of fans. All of these magnetic details that I have presented so far bring me to a critical juncture. As promised at the beginning of this video, I'm about to review Jordan's YouTube channel. Is it excellent, average, or miserable? Hang on so you can get these full details. Here are just some of the basic and essential factors that I needed to take into account when reviewing Jordan's YouTube channel. First off, does he have the charisma to pull it off? Does he have the charisma on camera to pull in the viewers and make the viewers, number one, like him, and number two, remain on the video for as long as possible? Secondarily, does he have the magnetism, the charisma that was predicted and noted by the late actress who was his mentor, Shelley Winters? Does he have that charisma, that pizzazz? But even more than that, does he have the skill to pull it off, the editing skills, and does he have the uniqueness to pull him and set him apart from other YouTubers that do the same type of thing? So that's what we're going to keep in mind as I review one of his recent videos chosen at random. On the fly, so to speak, I began to review one of Jordan's videos that appeared while I was producing the video that you are watching right now. Yes, indeed, that occurred on the morning of Saturday, January 17th. I started reviewing it less than an hour after it started showing on YouTube. And this was on the fly. I had not seen the video prior to my reviewing what he did. Now, what you're about to see is his introduction of that particular video, which occurred while he was taking a cruise ship to, I believe it was the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, and taking a tour to an ancient site. Now, here we go. Hang on tight.
Well, good morning, my friends. Your old pal, Jordan the Lion. It was kind of a crazy night last night. The boat was moving around a lot while we were trying to sleep, so that was the first time I've encountered that. But today's going to be a great day. It's just before 7 a.m., and we are going to see Chichen Itza today. We are touring that. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, with obviously Andre the Giant being the 8th. I don't think I've seen any of the wonders of the world in person, so this will be a first. Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all. It begins right now.
Right off the bat, without any hesitation whatsoever, just as Shelley Winters had predicted, this gentleman, Jordan, shows that he has charisma. He did all the right things to start a video. Number one, he had charisma, like I was mentioning earlier. He also had a sense of purpose and uniqueness. He created a sense of mystery. You got to watch this video, he's eventually saying, and that is what makes it work. That's one of the reasons why as many fans love him and adore him and appreciate his skills, although they, his many fans, might not know particularly why he's so skilled, and that's what I'm going to get into here in this analysis.
As you can see, the sun's not even up yet, but I'm going to have some breakfast before we go. Port of Indecision breakfast again today. Lots of excursions today. These are all people up early to go do the excursions. The usual.
To some viewers, I suppose, what we've just witnessed so far in Jordan's video might have seemed a bit mundane or normal, mediocre, but quite the opposite is true, because he is a genius at briefly setting the scene, taking the viewer to where he is on his vacation, and making it real for viewers, and that is great.
So here's our quick breakfast. Eggs, bangers, bacon, pancakes, and biscuits and gravy. But we gotta hurry, we don't have much time. The only thing that I had today that I hadn't had before were the British bangers. Those are good, everything was good today. But we are gonna call it a meal at this, because I'm full already. And we have about 5 minutes before we have to meet before the excursion. So they said Chichen Itza is, we're actually porting in Progreso, but Chichen Itza is 2 to 2.5 hours away each way. So this is going to be quite an excursion today. Getting off the boat and it's raining. Look at the beautiful waters. We have to pretty much immediately go get on our tour bus. Man, we thought Cozumel was blue. This is blue. And there's our beautiful ship we just arrived on. This is literally the worst wind I've ever been in my life. Those guys are cool though. Welcome to the Yucatan. Yeah, that was no joke. The worst wind I've ever.
What we've just seen exemplifies the fact that Jordan is a true genius. He went through the breakfast really briefly, quickly to establish that opening scene, but he said at that time something to the effect, not his exact words, we gotta hurry. Time is of the essence. We got 5 minutes. That is something that's important. Viewers might not realize it, but by doing it that way, Jordan creates a sense of urgency which hooks the viewer and makes the person hang on tight during this so-called drama of the wind. Of course, wind happens everywhere around the world at times, but he brings it to life.
It's all part of the experience, Russ.
Not a bad drive. Back on the bus, please watch your step. Also, we have that hanging mirror. If you pass around the bus, please mind your head. Okay, don't like to mind your head or watch your step. At least watch your language. Right? We are maybe double size. Like Cancun, it's only 750,000 inhabitants. Merida, awesome. 1.5 million. Right? So basically now we are about to. Okay, familia. Thank you. See you later. Gracias.
So we've stopped off to do a little bit of shopping along the way. They brought us to a little market. We can buy some Mayan stuff if we want. Oh, that.
Hey, who knows, perhaps you felt as if you were there with Jordan, right beside him as he filmed along a downtown area, getting the idea of the scenery and the customs and what is in that community, making you feel as if you were there. Of course, there was a portion during that where the sound was a bit muddy, the sound of the narrator, whoever was a tour guide on the bus, or perhaps the bus driver through some kind of an audio system. It was muddy, but that's good because it's good that Jordan chose to feature that, because it shows what the riders on the bus from the United States perhaps experienced. Difficult to understand what was being said, but seeing everything around. Also, if you saw those hammocks that people were riding in an adjoining vehicle, the hammocks that Jordan did so wonderful of a job capturing that image, it also showed a so-called real downtown image. Then, throughout everything that they went through, right now he ended that most recent clip from as captured in the image that you now see on your screen, and it shows a map, and that map indicates where the viewer is right now, and that helps you and me and anybody that's viewing this understand where they are, and that is all to the credit of Jordan. And so congratulations for that. Once again, he shows that he's a bit of a superstar. He's experienced at this. He's directing his own production on the fly, so to speak. And you also need to remember, heaven's sakes, this gentleman has to stay up late at night, perhaps editing his video shot earlier that day, staying up late at night, working maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. It takes a lot to edit a video of that nature. It's not just like pushing a few buttons. So this shows, number one, his stamina and the other characteristics that are positive that we previously mentioned.
In the bus, I show you this picture, right? Okay, well, I don't know if you could see that there is like a road. Okay, it was the road from Merida City to Valladolid, the second biggest city of Yucatan. And it's this road. So long ago, the cars were passing here. It was the first road, then we moved it. So yes, welcome everybody. Welcome to Chichen Itza. And what is the meaning of Chichen Itza? How is your Mayan language? Not that good? Non-existent, simply. Yeah. All right. Maybe not. You know the word chiclets? Yeah. This is a chewing gum, right? Yeah. The chewing gum was invented by the Mayans. The meaning of chiclets is chi means mouth and cle means chi. Oh, like in Chichen Itza, right? Yeah. Chichen Itza means chi means mouth, cle. Chi means mouth. Chen means well, a natural well, which means the mouth of a well. This is a sinkhole. We call them cenotes. The cenote is the entrance to the underground rivers, but also is the entrance to the underworld, according to the Mayans. And the water was very important. We were talking about the drought before and so on. So there are sinkholes around, cenotes around here. There are 4 cenotes, north, south, east, and west.
Hey, this is a great point for me to mention, to discuss the fact that, remember what I said earlier about a great or even good, exceptional video needs to be like a story. When we're talking about a video, even a vlogging video about traveling, whatnot, it has to be a good story. And cleverly, in an expert fashion, Jordan, right here in videotaping these scenes, he's letting the story be told by an expert. Now, of course, the sound, this tour guide's device wasn't necessarily all that great, but I imagine that the people around the person, including some of us viewers, understood what the gentleman was saying. It was a story. He's talked about where they were, the current and long time road all the way to the big city. So that's something, and that's an exceptional job. This continues on. Let's pay further attention here.
So, with the small hole, which is the entrance to a bigger cave, flooded with water, and that cave, it gets fit by the stream of water, which is connecting each one of the 8,000 cenotes.
Once again, right here, Jordan has done an excellent, really exceptional job of making sure that these tour guides, they're telling the story, the good tale that the readers want, the visitors want, the viewers want, people from around the world. This is essential. And of course, Jordan's doing that. Maybe the sound system's not so great, but I'm fairly certain that the people within that viewing area could hear exactly what was being said, and because of his exceptional editing abilities, I have little doubt that Jordan, kept it to a minimum at this point in his video presentation, and that's good. That's what we want. We want things clear and to the point, and this is what Jordan has achieved once again.
There's a temple down there too, right beside it.
That they built a pyramid on top of something like this. The other should be a small entrance. It's more like a cave with just a small entrance to get in. Good? Now, of course, you're asking yourself probably like, hey, but he told us that the water is filtered and it's drinkable, no? It looks not very, very drinkable here, right? The water is usually drinkable, but not in this case. Why not? Okay, there are 2 options. We don't know exactly the reason. Which is the right one, I mean. But the underground river of this sinkhole, the tunnel that is connecting this sinkhole with the others, so that makes the water to flow, to renew, is kind of blocked. But the question is, if it is blocked by the Mayans or naturally, we don't know. And there is a possibility, there is a chance that during the dry period, there was no water here, and they block it on purpose because is connecting to the other one underground. So like this, to block from here, then it means that they cannot go to the other and get inside of the other pyramid, like something like that. Or it could be just a natural collapse. We don't know very well if it is a natural thing or more than a Mayan idea, like a well.
Now, as you can see, the story continues thanks to this tour guide. The sound in this particular section of the video that you just saw, a lot better, probably because there was trees around them to absorb some of the sounds, to keep the sounds near the camera that Jordan was using. In any event, at this particular time, from the rest of his video, for the remainder of his video, everything had worked out real well. As planned, I would think. A lot of people were left, and they said that they were left in tears at the end of this video. Those people were the people that commented during the video, and after the video, people can go down below and make comments of their own, which I can encourage you to do on the video that you're watching right now. Go down in the comment section, write what you think of Jordan, what you think of his videos, and what my conclusion is right here. And in fact, for a brief second, brief few minutes here, I'm going to show you some of the comments that were made by the people that watched this video within the first 1 hour to 90 minutes after it went online on YouTube. Listen to what they have to say. Susan Martell 3131 says, "Your grandpa is watching over you. That is why you are getting all the complimentary upgrades, I believe." And there's a heart mark. And there are people under that, 31 people under that comment clicked a like, saying that they liked the comment about Jordan the Lion's late grandfather. Another person, Contessel Ann, says, "I was crying at the end. Thank goodness you had someone like your grandpa in your life." Martha Mark 4891 says, "What a wonderful cruise and staff. Your grandfather wanted you to know he supports you, having the best time ever." And there are 4 hearts right after that particular comment. The next person right here says, "Oh, so sorry for your loss of your grandpa, Jordan. May he rest in peace." Contanessa Lou Ann says, "Jordan, thank you for sharing your travels. Stay safe, happy, and healthy." Another person says, "Little did this guy know he is now a star on YouTube," with an exclamation point. "Looking forward to tomorrow." And then the next person says, "So wonderful to see Chicken Season again. I have a Mayan calendar on my wall. Have fun, dear Jordan." Okay, so there's another person that yet another person says, "That's awareness of Margaritaville. Cruz is treating you so well and being so kind to you and giving these upgrades and amenities. Such a shame for certain things that happened in the past." So yes, indeed, this gentleman is a superstar in the minds of his viewers. They are so loyal, and that is for a reason. They are grieving the loss of his grandfather. They're showing their best condolences to him, and they care about this man because he does such a great job. Hang on tight here while I give a full explanation of my 5-star excellent rating for Jordan the Lion and his channel, Daze with Jordan the Lion. And I would say he's knocked it out of the park. It's like hitting 3 or 4 consecutive grand slams in a row. This man is a superstar, and I can see why his channel is poised to grow into the international realm, not just tours of the United States, but further explanations, explorations into other nations around the globe. The sky is the limit for Jordan at this point in his life. I wish him all the best. I also extend my personal condolences to Jordan and his family. Once again, my name is Duke Maxwell, and as you watch the end of this video, I encourage you to go down in the explanation below this video, where I will have a link giving you access to Jordan's channel, where you can subscribe to his channel. Also, subscribe to my channel where you're at.